Red Soccer combined to score 231 goals this season against our opponents. So much good. Field hockey scored 39 goals, which my daughter wanted to make sure that was put in there. That's 2 more than last season. Football had 7 different people reach the end zone with touchdown passes, and they had 2 field goals. Right, Mr. Correct?
That's right.
Okay, good. A volleyball match, if you've never seen a volleyball match before, consists of playing about 3 to 5 games. And not counting the Spooner Classic, varsity and varsity B girls competed in 99 games this season, and they won 56 of them. So that's good for them. This was Blue Dog Bike's very first varsity season. They competed in 6 races, including a league championship. And they rode over 200 miles this fall in practices and races and brought home our first ever mountain biking race trophies, which look really cool. They're like gears. If you count up the sprints, laps, hills, time trials, and miles of trails, Cross Country and Rumsey Outdoor Adventure logged over 180 miles of running and hiking through fields and forest. So good job for you guys. Recreational tennis, we kind of calculated they probably served the ball over 1,000 times this season.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
And we had at least 2,000 winning shots.
Oh, that's pretty good. And finally, the 5 riders of Mrs. Mandel, we figured it out, drove 855 miles. That's 19 miles. No, that's 864. That's 19 miles round trip to the barn every day to ride their horses. So sometimes coming in first or being the person who scores the goal gets the most attention. But we all know no goal or race is ever won alone. Someone completed a pass, someone else outran the defender. Another person pushed themselves a little bit harder that day. Someone else gave their teammate a high five and cheered them on. A coach thought about a play and took the time to teach it to their team. A parent brought everyone snacks at the end of a tough match. Our collective success is based on the combination of all our efforts. I would first like to give an A for effort to all our coaches. The time and dedication that happens not only during practices and games, but also behind the scenes is what makes Blue Dog Athletics possible. If our fall coaching staff could please stand to be recognized with a round of applause. So now is time to recognize each of you athletes. At this point, what's going to happen is a coach is going to come up from each team and kind of give a little recap or some highlights from their season. And we're going to run rec tennis, then row, red soccer, blue soccer, and then riding. Thank you.
Yay, rec tennis!
Let me put the sacred racket here. It's only a page. I know. I've learned to love public speaking. Anyway, so recreational tennis. Can I take this off? Am I far enough away from everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Recreational tennis was a blend of recreation and leisure with a little bit of competition sprinkled in there. Our days were spent at the new state-of-the-art tennis courts, thanks to the Aaron family and Classic Turf, yay! And we enjoyed warm, almost summer-like days all the way through November. When the season began, there were some players that had not yet learned to hold a racket or hit the ball properly. So we started from the beginning. We first learned to hold the racket correctly and how to hit the ball up and down in the air. And you first start with this fun little foam ball. So you have to be able to control the ball. Yeah.
once we could connect with the ball, we focused on controlling how hard and where to hit it. We used different strategies such as only playing with the boundary of the service boxes and hitting with a larger, softer tennis ball. The first of many challenges was to rally back and forth 20 times, keeping the ball within the service boxes. Once that was mastered, we tried to hit with our backhand and to each other's backhand. And as we got better and we mastered those skills, we began some competition. We played King of the Court, we played a couple of good games of Burn, and we ended with a few round robin tournaments. And Alan, I haven't forgotten you. Anyway, I'm extremely proud of how much everyone improved throughout the fall, and I want to thank each and every one of you. And I will quickly hand out, if you would come down. Jerry is not here, Sasha is not here, but Tiffany, A for effort. She started as a beginner and really did a fantastic job. I remember. Ryan Kim, I would say he was one of our most improved this season. He really did a great job. He did a lot of things. Thank you, great job, buddy. Sophie Park, A for effort. She got out there, she hit with me, and she practiced and practiced. Sasha, welcome, here you go. And Sasha is actually a wonderful tennis player, hold on. And did a really good job despite, there you go, great job, having some back issues. Whit Pollitt, he joined us midway through and was a wonderful tennis player. And he loves my Yonex. Great job, Whit, thank you. Okay, Hutch isn't here, but Hutch had a wonderful season. And then I have my Daisy May, who also gets an A for effort for doing so much, going from missing the ball to hitting the ball. A lot. Good job, Daisy. And Olivia's son, who is one of our first seasons. And Katie Yin is also one of our worst season players. And San, who also gets an A for effort and showed great improvement throughout the season and was a formidable opponent and a wonderful partner. And Alan Zhu, who was all around wonderful and would play absolutely everyone and was also one of my favorite partners. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Hey, Roa.
Mrs. Saxon, like you, public speaking is not my favorite. I have not grown to love it.
You just fake it till you make it.
Roa's words of wisdom for 2022. Move every day was our goal. Well, most days we made it. There was this one day, weather was awful all day right up until 3 p.m. When you know, clouds disappeared, blue skies started to shine. I had planned not to head out due to the weather. I figured the trails were nothing but mud after all those rains. Sometime in the middle of sports period, as I'm walking to another building, I heard a tree fall across the way in River Trail. I was validated in the choice not to go out that day. Then there was the day, not so rainy, but misty, foggy. We took a walk a week later down River Trail for, I don't know, the umpteenth time this year. The kids were mostly thinking Mr. Simonelli really took us on a hike in bad weather today, and not last week when it was nice out. Yeah, averaging more than 2 to 4 miles per time outside, all our efforts improved our fitness each time out. Our longest distance hit 4 miles in the hour-and-a-half sports. Our shortest walk was 1.4 miles, a walk with very little flat trail and fairly steep uphill climbs. It was our final hike to peak the Warmog Rock Pinnacle. Great work to all who made it, and shout out to Eugene again. He did a great job getting up a fairly steep hill with a lot going against him in slippery leaves. It wasn't easy. It was a strenuous hike up to the peak, but worth it in some of the photos you may see in the video. In the end, I'd like to think it all culminated in positive feelings about completing to accomplish, but it is likely our hikers' fondest memories from Fall Roa 2022, Fire Fridays, and s'mores to enjoy the afternoons. Thank you to all for a great fall season. And Miss E has a few participation letters.
I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed getting to know some of our ROA kids this season, and I have some awards. They're not sports related, but they're just more like quirky, sort of personality based awards. I'll hand them out later, but I just want to read them off. Best Attitude Award goes to Saoirse for never complaining and always making us laugh. The Quiet Storm Award goes to Leanne for being pretty quiet but assertive when she needs to be. The Mellow Mind Award is presented to Chet for always having a calm spirit and demeanor. The Tenacious Trooper Award is presented to Eugene for being resilient and overcoming challenges. The Fierce Firestarter Award is presented to Leo for always trying to keep that fire going by any means necessary. The Walking Encyclopedia Award is presented to JD for knowing a ton of facts about various topics. The Wise Owl Award is presented to Tyler for always demonstrating logical reasoning. The Great Debater Award is presented to Kingston for his ability to justify his reasoning with details and persuasion. The Heart of Gold Award is presented to Jethro for always being positive, kind, and considerate to all. The Hustler Award is presented to Nico for always staying at the head of the pack. And the Tough Cookie Award goes to Lucia for being such a stickler for those rules. I mean, the red light, green light, you were tough, man. That was a tough one. So yours actually didn't print out, so I'm gonna have to give that to you.
What about the second Leo?
Honestly, Leo,
I wasn't there.
he really wasn't. I think you were there for maybe a week,
4 hikes.
4 hikes or something. So
We got
I really didn't get to know Leo that well, so I'm sorry, Leo. I don't have one for you, but.
You still did great.
Hi everybody, I just wanted to start off by telling you how proud I am of our Red Soccer. We started off with a group that played very little soccer before they came onto our team. So the amount of growth that we saw from the beginning in September to the end of our season was tremendous. And it was just really fun to watch you all develop your skills. We would scrimmage every day. Every day, that's all you all wanted to do, scrimmage. So you got some real good time on the field practicing. We had the opportunity to play 2 games, and the growth between our first game and our second game was tremendous. And I really wanted to thank Mr. Mandel and Mr. Kovac for helping us throughout the season, helping us at those 2 games, and sharing your field and your time with us during the season.
I'm just very proud of you all, and I loved hanging out with you.
Thank you for making our fall season so enjoyable. We all got along so well, and it was really, really fun getting to know each of you.
All right.
Oh,
meeting, I can vouch for that. Yeah, you wanna start off?
No, you go ahead.
This is how we coach, it's like, you wanna do it today? No, you do it
You
today.
do everything.
I don't do everything, I do some things.
It's a standard.
Junior Blue Soccer, right, is part of a program, the soccer program here at Rumsey, and red soccer and blue soccer, we all start out as one, and sometimes during the season we mesh together, sometimes we separate. But when Junior Blue Soccer did separate, I think there are a lot of players that changed over the season in a big way. One of the things I take away from this season, which was a really good season, I mean, we finished 4 wins and 5 losses, but we beat IMS twice. They beat us twice, but we beat them twice. We bookended our season with wins against IMS, so how cool is that?
the first and last.
The best too, right? First impressions and last impressions, right?
And we also won both games 7-5.
He's good. He's good. So we finished a really good season with a strong record. I think it was a strong record. We bookended it. And one of the things that I thought was really cool about this team is a lot of people took chances, doing things they've never done before. I can talk to some players who were very experienced, have played outside of Rumsey, have played with Rumsey before, and some kids we've never seen before, and they stepped up and they just wowed us. And we had some players who barely ever played soccer before and took some big chances, like saying, you know what, I think I'll be the goalie. I think I'll be the goalie, and I think I'll be the person that has to, you know, maybe one day, one game, make a difference in whether we win or lose. And James was the first one out of the chute. He said, can I be goalie? Day 2. Can I be goalie? Day 50. Can I be goalie? James wanted to be goalie, and he was a great goalie. He got us started in a great way. And then we made a transition, and Jack, stand up, Jack. Jack said, you really want me to be goalie? All right, I'll be goalie. I'll give it a shot. And Jack was really impressive, right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
He was really impressive, and I think he impressed himself too, which is something about junior soccer. You start to figure out who you are as an athlete, and sometimes we don't do so great. And sometimes we have a record, you know, with 2 wins and then 5 losses in a row. That didn't feel so good. But then we came back strong, right? We won our last 2. So, great season overall. I'm going to just do a couple of things here. A couple of words that were constant, I think, in our season. Fun. I think we all had fun, right? We learned to play as a team. We showed heart. We learned how to dig deep. We also learned about how to delay and? Good. Pass to? Space. Good. Back post. Find one, cover one, right? And what's the last one, Rhett? You said back post corner. Okay, so you learned it. Good. And of course, our most favorite warm-up drill, fire feet. Who wants to demo fire feet? Go for it. Right now. Fire feet. All right, have a seat. Okay. And of course, there were the crazy bus rides. So, this was a fun season. It was a great season. I think a lot of you soccer players growed. Is that right? Did they grow?
I'm just looking to be employed, sir. I have no
Okay,
idea.
you're employed and they grow. That's awesome. And we did have some award winners this year, so we'll read those out. Our MVP and elected captain, Ripley Giles. Coach's award to Oliver Anto. Two Blue Dog Award winners this year, Walker Young and Gugu Nglobu. Okay. And our 2 MIPs, Jack Perry and Addison Lee. One last thing I'll say is every year, Junior Blue Soccer, I watch varsity soccer, and I'm always amazed at how many of them played on Junior Blue Soccer or Junior Red Soccer maybe a year or 2 before. So it's out there for you guys. okay? So you wanna keep playing, play hard, play over the summer, play as often as you can, and you'll be up here in a half an hour, next year, all right? Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I'm just letting coach talk, I'm fine.
He's crying.
But I just wanna practice. Where's, Twinkle Toes?
Yeah.
Where's the Silent Assassin? Where's Baby Blue? Nice.
Papa Beagle's not here.
Where's Papagallo?
Right here.
Alright, you guys can sit down. Everybody has nicknames, but I'm not gonna go through. Yes, I'm Hamburger.
What about Mr.
See, I just
Predator?
wanna know if you remember your nickname.
Okay, so, horseback riding is sort of different, right? We got in the car, we go, and we come back. We don't really know what happens on campus. But for those of you who wanna know what we're doing while we're off, we wanna talk about abdominals. We wanna talk about erector spinae group muscles. We wanna talk about the gluteus maximus. Hip adductors and adductors, hip extensors, obliques, pectoralis major and pectoralis minor, piriformis, this is the anatomy lesson, quadratus lumborum, scapular stabilizers, and transverse abdominis. Those are just a few of the muscles that you need for riding a horse or a pony. What this doesn't take into account is that riding just isn't riding, okay? It's a combination of a whole body workout and a whole brain workout. Your muscles are in charge of staying on the horse. They're in charge of steering the horse. They make you look good. They make it look easy. They make the horse look good. But your horse or your pony is a living animal with a mind and a personality of its own. Horses and ponies are smart. They're independent, and sometimes they're cranky and stubborn, and they don't want to do what you want them to do. They get scared when they see something unfamiliar. They get startled by unfamiliar noises or loud noises. In order to have a successful ride, which means the rider gets a workout and improves on their skills, and the horse gets a workout to keep their body and mind healthy, the horse has to learn that work is fun and people are good. Oh yeah, by the way, all the time while you're doing all this, you have to remember that the horse or pony you're riding weighs about 600 to 1,200 pounds. It's a lot bigger than my riders. Every day during the full sports season, rain or shine, which fortunately we didn't have much rain, warm or cold, and in Morris, it's a lot colder than it is here, believe it or not. Tegan Hunter, Bridget Metcalf, Toa Miyake, Amber Yu, and Alex Lee piled into the school expedition with me. We had to leave campus at 2:40 promptly, not 1 second later, or Mrs. Mandel was going to drive away without you, which did happen once. These athletes did more than ride. They cleaned horse stalls. They clean alleys where the horses are tied up, where they get tacked. The athletes do the tacking. They do the grooming. And then after they ride for 40 minutes or so, they have to bring their horse back, get it untacked, groom it again, pick their feet, and clean up whatever surprises land. Each of these girls learned not only how to be a better rider, but they learned important life lessons as well. Some of them conquered fears, like how to get back on your horse after you just fell off. Some of them had to learn how to put the bit in the horse's mouth. That's where your reins are attached to the bridle, after the horse just tried to bite you. And in return for all that work, the horse usually got lots of love, an apple or two, maybe a horse treat, and I saw some horses get some peppermints once in a while. So I would like to congratulate these athletes for a fabulous season, one that I feel incredibly grateful to have been a part of. We were a team in all senses of the word.
and I wanted to recognize the girls for all that they've done, all their hard work, their sportsmanship, and their kindness. And while I don't have an award for each one of you, we did get to go to ice cream twice, and those were Bridget's ideas. We started with Poppy's because they close, and we ended with Arethusa. So congratulations, girls, and thank you.
All of you, our coaches and our athletes. If you can think way back to September during tryouts and those first few days, how you might have felt a little nervous or rusty or apprehensive, like what am I getting myself into? Sprints? I can't run sprints. Kick a ball? That really hurts. I don't really know if I can do this. All right, and now looking around, these are your teammates, your friends, your coaches. You've got shared memories of a fall season that was filled with triumphs and challenges. As a fall coach myself, girls soccer, it's easy to get wrapped up in all your own triumphs and challenges. And you may not even know about all the things going on around you, on other fields, trails, courts, and even the barn. So here are a few numbers to recap our season. The fall season is 9 weeks long. We competed in 128 contests and games, and we won 72 of them. Girls and boys varsity soccer, B-boys soccer, junior blue and red soccer combined to score 231 goals this season. So congrats to the soccer program. Field hockey scored 39 goals, which my daughter wanted me to make sure to say that's 2 more than last season. So that's just football, and I hope this is right, had 7 different people reach the end zone with more touchdown passes completed than last season and 2 field goals. A volleyball match consists of playing about 3 to 5 games. Not counting the Spooner Classic, varsity and varsity B girls volleyball competed in a total of 99 games this season, and they won 56 of them. This was Blue Dog Bike's very first varsity season. They competed in 6 races, including a league championship. This season, they rode over 200 miles in practices and races and brought home our first ever mountain biking race trophies, which you should get the chance to see at some point. If you count up all the sprints, laps, hills, time trials, and miles of trails, cross country and Rumsey Outdoor Adventure logged over 180 miles of running and hiking through fields and forests. So congrats to them. And finally, 5 riders and Mrs. Mandel drove 855 miles this season. That's 19 miles round trip to the barn. They told me I forgot to mention their trips for ice cream, to ride their horses each day. So congrats. Sometimes coming in first or being the person who scores the goal gets the most attention. But we all know no goal or race is ever won alone. Someone completed a pass. Someone else outran the defender. Another person pushed themselves a little bit harder that day, and someone else gave a teammate a high five and cheered them on. A coach thought about a play and took the time to teach the skill to their team. A parent brought everyone snacks at the end of a tough match. Our collective success is based on the combination of all our individual efforts. I would like to give an A for effort to our coaches, the time and dedication that happens not only during practices and games, but also behind the scenes, thinking and planning and organizing is what makes Blue Dog Athletics possible. I'd like to take this moment to recognize our fall coaching staff. Now it's time to recognize each of you, our athletes, and your individual achievements this season. At this point, coaches and captains will be coming to talk about their seasons. Coaches, we know the order? Yep, we're all good? Okay, we're opening it with B volleyball.
great fall season, and we are very proud of each of the 30 members of our team, their growth. We had a lot of fun. Okay, so our MVP players were Vale Jimenez and Ariel Zhu.
Our Blue Dog Awards were Serena and Caroline. And our most improved were Amy and Romy. And now we're going to introduce our captains, Anaya and Yolanda.
Good afternoon, my name is Yolanda. I'm Anaya. This term, varsity volleyball won 8 out of 12 games. With our record-breaking size of 30 team members, we all had something to get out of this season. We all learned the value of teamwork and growth, allowing us to strive as a team.
This 30-player team consisted of girls who were confident in their skills and some who were still learning to be. We learned, improved, and assisted other girls so we can all become better. We constantly supported one another, helping us become the close-knit team we are. Yes, we have had some weak times where we all aren't so confident in our skills. Our first game against Foreman, we lost quickly and by a significant amount. However, these lows were followed by growth and a quick recovery. The second and last game we had with Foreman was a win for us, showing our growth and improvement from the start of the season.
We have now grown only as volleyball players, but as people who are of a whole community who all had something to contribute. Whether that contribution was a great set for a spank or encouragement when needed, it was all helpful. Every hour we spent together was filled with fun memories that we, as seniors, will cherish forever. Unfortunately, us seniors cannot stay with our underperformers through their volleyball journey, so we will leave you with this. John Wooden once said, make sure that team members know they are working with you, not for you. Be a supportive member and a reliable volleyball team, only then will there be growth. Work hard, overcome obstacles that you have never dared to before, and most importantly, have fun.
An A for effort goes to everyone for the team's growth and consistent effort. Thank you, Ms. Heath and Ms. LaPlaca, for being incredible coaches. Thank you, Mr. Prigaki and Mrs. Butler, for organizing games. On behalf of me, Yolanda, and the coaches, a thank you to all of the volleyball members. This was an amazing season that is truly unforgettable for us all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Those are 2 of 20 seniors total in the volleyball program this year. We're graduating 20 seniors. So even though there were 30 girls on the varsity B team and 18 on the varsity volleyball team, we're losing a lot of those players this year, and so it will be a huge loss. But anyways, the beginning of the season, I begged Mrs. Butler, after 11 years of coaching varsity B volleyball, to please let me stay at varsity B volleyball. I love that program so much, and despite how much I missed them, it was very quickly into the season that with such a great co-coach and such sweet and truly talented players, I fell in love. So it was an awesome season. We finished it with a winning season and second place in the Spooner Classic, which was a huge feat, especially for it being my first year coaching, and same with Coach Dunham. So I think you know the basics of the awards. Our Blue Dog went to Tahara Karoti, our Coaches Award to Sol Park, Most Improved to Olivia Ensign, and our MVP went to Elizabeth Ensign. We also have a special award at volleyball that isn't as clear. It's called the Raspberry Patch Queen. And that's for the girl who's always, the athlete who's always diving down, willing to go get every single ball, and that went to Reagan Bertuglia. And lastly, the captain was Madeline Scheidt. So
for giving us such a great season and a really great end of the year volleyball party with glow in the dark volleyball, which is what these are from. Mrs. Butler and Mr. Bergaki for scheduling our games. Mr. Waller for
Nice goal. We also saw a bald eagle at the last practice of the season, but our captain will tell you more about that. A special thank you to Mr. Green for being a great co-coach. I had a lot of fun working with him for our second consecutive season together. I will now hand it over to our captain, Teddy Kowalczyk, who will give a speech and will announce our award winners for the season. Thank you, and go Blue Devils.
Good afternoon, my name is Teddy. To start us off, I would like to thank the team and our coaches for a great season. Although our record is not necessarily something to brag about, this season was fun, exciting, and at points rough. We started off the season with a good push all the way to the semis at the Dutchess Day tournament. We then lost our first field game of the season, but then followed that up with a pair of wins. We then proceeded to lose 8 straight games. We finished the season with our second win against Sherman and a close loss to IMS. Despite our losing record, there are some highs of this season that really stood out, like beating Mizentop after losing to them in Dutchess 2-0 and losing to them in the first game of the season 10-3. Or when we saw a bald eagle in a tree and Mr. Anderson told us to start reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and we all started singing the national anthem. Overall, we had a great group of guys and we couldn't have asked for better coaches. I would now like to recognize a few players for a great season. Congrats to Miles Wolf with MVP, Jack Ameridico with Coach's Award, Patrick Dwyer with Blue Dogs Award, Cole Metcalf with Most Improved Player. Thank you.
This is my 14th season coaching the varsity boys, and it was a fantastic season. It was my first season not coaching with Mr. Kolpak, and I just want to sort of say to Mr. Bono, it was a fantastic season because of everything that you brought to the program. The thing that I loved most of all this season was the fact that when I looked out there on the pitch, I could see guys who had played right through the program, right up from the juniors, up through the Bs, and into the varsity team. And they do a great job down in the B team to prepare these boys, and it's part of their progression is to play for the varsity team. So when I looked out at our team and I saw players that had been through, right from the junior programs right up, it made me feel a lot of pride in our soccer program.
That's all you got? All right. Thank you to Coach Dabo. You guys aren't here to listen to us talk, though. I do want to recognize the 20 boys up there. If you haven't had a chance to congratulate those guys, find some time to do so, because the last game of the season, they fought for everyone in here, all right? And they ended a curse against IMS. So if you get a chance. And I will also live from our captains.
And I'm Molly, and this year boys varsity soccer had a great season as we went 10-1-2. We had a long list of games that ranged from games where we won 11-0 and games we won 3-2. Our team created a huge bond as everyone got along and became friends. In our first game, we went into it not knowing what was going to happen, and we ended up winning 11-0. After this win, we got a lot of confidence, and this inspired us to have such a great season. One of the biggest tests of the season is always the earliest game against Taft. It was our second game of the season, and coaches Dival and Bono were still figuring out the positions to play us in. The game went back and forth, and each time Taft breached our defense, our forwards made up for it and scored in reply. The game ended 7-7. This gave us an idea of what some of these high school level games were going to look like. The next 5 games were pretty easily won, and our game against Frederick Gunn was a great game, but thanks to Arthur playing an amazing game in goal, we won 6-3. Then we played our first game of 2 against IMS. We went to it expecting a very hard game, and by the end of the first half, we were down 5-1. After an energizing halftime talk by the coaches, we came out with more intensity than IMS and began scoring. Though the score was back to 5-4, we ended up going down 6-4. This did ruin the hope of the undefeated season, but after such a close game, we were so excited to play our next IMS game. 3 games later, we played A1 Old Farms the second time, but we were playing the third team since we beat the Forest the first time. Although A1 were much better than expected, we got out of the first half with a 2-1 lead, and then we let in 2 goals pretty quickly, and they took the lead. After pounding the ball into the box, we finally got on the end of one as Geronimo scored with 2 minutes left. We left with a tie, but it was a good game.
At our Eaglebrook tournament, we won our earliest game in penalties, lost our next 3, and then won the last one. We got 5 out of 8, which we were pretty excited about. Now comes the last game against IMS. The entire team was so excited to play under the lights at night against our rival. We started the game off with a goal from Geronimo in the first 5 minutes. We then led in a goal. We played a long ball over the top and Alejandro got on the end of it. He put the ball in the back of the net with the calm finish. Ollie then scored a beautiful solo goal in the second half where he drilled past the keeper. We came away with the win, which we were so excited about. This was the first time beating IMS in a long time, and it felt good to show that there was no difference in the quality of our teams. Thank you to Mr. Viraki for scheduling all of our games, and Mr. Waller for keeping all of us healthy. Even if it included getting into a bit of a heated argument with the ref at our IMS game. Thank you to the kids and parents who showed up to watch us, and thank you to Chema for becoming our manager halfway through the season. You turned into part of our team. Our awards this year went to Geronimo with Blue Dog Award, and the most improved player went to Bentley. He played on B's last year, and it took him a while to develop his play at the varsity level. In the last month of our season, he turned into a starter and really showed his class in the IMS game. Lastly, the MVP award went to Charlie Caruth for putting in countless goals. It seemed like some games he was getting a hat trick without even trying. Mr. Dyball had to take him off in the first half so he wouldn't score too much on the opposing teams. And lastly, we want to give the biggest of thanks to our coaches. Mr. Bono came onto the scene as his first time coaching a boys varsity soccer, and you could not have done it any better. Mr. Dyball, thank you for all of the ladder runs and hill sprints that you made us do. But seriously, you were a great coach this year, and we could all see the emotion that you had after beating IMS. Thank you to everyone involved for leading us to our best season since 2012.
We'll keep this kind of short and sweet, a little bit like our team, right? We're a little short, sweet team. Eddie Reese, who was the coach of the Texas Longhorn swim team, once said, "The hardest skill to acquire in this sport is the one where you compete all out, give it all you have, and you are still getting beat no matter what you do. When you have the killer instinct to fight through that, it is very special." This applies to our group of girls. They began to develop that killer instinct for field hockey this year, and they made so much progress.
When we began the season, there were 4 on the team that were returning from last year's team, and everyone else, including myself, was brand new to the sport. Learning a new sport for these girls has had its challenges and rewards, and as a coaching staff, we had a lot of fun watching them grow, learn, and be competitive on the field. All the girls were able to play at different positions throughout the season as they began to zero in on a preference that fit their enthusiasm for the sport. A special shout out to Minji for being brave enough to step in the goal and be a courageous tiger.
Girls made a ton of progress. You learned how to spread out, share the ball, use the sides of the field, and rocket those free hits through the opposing team. Very, very big improvements from the beginning of our season. We are incredibly proud of you, and you've been a pleasure to coach each of you.
A huge congratulations to our award winners, Miss Lily Pastor for our most improved, Miss Molly Giraldi for the Blue Dog Award, and our co-captains, Bridget Walsh, who will be coming up next, and Victoria Clem, who unfortunately could not be with us today.
Hi, I'm Bridget Walsh, the varsity B field hockey captain with Victoria Clem. This season was so much fun. We had 7 losses and 1 tie. We had 2 great goals by Charlotte and Alicia. Thank you, Coach Kapler and Coach Pete, for an amazing season. Thank you and have a nice day.
Right. Hi, everyone. So, varsity field hockey. We had a lot of girls that we graduated last year, so we were not sure what we were getting into this season, but your captains will tell you more about that shortly. But Coach and I are really looking forward to next year, and we have a very young team. So now the captains can come up and tell you about our season.
Hi, my name is Phoebe. And my name is Abby, and we are the field hockey captains for this year. Phoebe and I had no idea what this year would be like. We lost a bunch of seniors last year, and after tryouts, we realized our team was made up of only 2 seniors, 3 8th graders, 1 5th grader, and the rest were all 6 and 7. Many of these players had only played for a year, and some were completely new to the sport. So if I'm being completely honest, Phoebe and I were a bit worried. But when we wanted to play in our first game against Westminster, and were able to come out with a win because of a goal by Lucy in the last minute, we knew this season was going to be a good one. We carried our determination and strength from this first game throughout the rest of our games this season, with our team absolutely dominating the field. We had games where the ball never passed our defensive 25, and our goalies rarely got shots on them. Our team crushed every opponent, winning most games by 3 to 4 plus goals, and only getting scored on in our 1 loss against Berkshire. The growth of our team throughout the season was amazing, and we could not be more proud of these girls. Most times when Abby and I are looked out on the field during the day, there's a player working on their skills. Awards this season went to Raven for Blue Dog and Hadley for MIP. And the 2 awards that are special to our team went to Brooklyn with the Carey Award and Lucy with the Dua Lipa Award. Together, Abby and I also wanted to give overall A for effort this season to Lucy. Lucy was always working her hardest on the field, and there was never a moment when she was not all over the ball. She was a key player and truly a standout on our team. All the girls played and worked so hard to reach the ability we had at the end of our season. Our team was able to end the season with an amazing record of 10-1-1. Thank you to Mr. Waller for taking care of our injuries. Thank you to Mrs. Butler and Mr. Bergacki for scheduling our games, and thank you to Mr. Beach for working out with us. And finally, thank you to our coaches, Mr. Grazzi and Mr. Romanello, for preparing us for all our games this season. Good luck to the seniors next year.
Go field hockey!
Really quickly, Abby is way too humble to mention, but we did say it back in a field hockey captain's report, but Abby had something that really doesn't happen at this level, and it's called a stroke. And what that means is it's basically a penalty shot for field hockey. And the only way it happens is if the goalie holds onto the ball in some way, because it's not like hockey where you can cover the puck and, you know, the whistle blows. So this happened in one of our games. It actually happened twice, but the ref only called it the second time around because he realized what was happening. So it's just Abby out there who got the stroke because it was her shot that the goalie stepped on and held on to. And everybody has to be behind the 25, so it's a very intense moment. And the ref asks the goalie if they're ready, if the player's ready, and he blows the whistle and you get 1 shot. So it was an incredible experience for Abby. We did get it on film. I hope it might be in our video. I'm not sure, but definitely Mrs. Butler has that film because we made sure that she got it. But she really deserves a congratulations because it was
Hey, thanks. I think when hard work and talent comes together, success tends to follow. We had a really talented group of kids who worked very hard, had a nice 5-2 season, so congratulations. I'd like to thank Coach Craig, Coach Stu, and Coach Lynn for all their hard work and commitment. It takes a lot of time, and I appreciate all you did. Thank you to the athletic department, Mr. Bragaki and Mrs. Butler for all the work in putting together a competitive schedule, Mr. Waller for helping keep us upright and healthy, and to Mr. Beach for all the post-game recovery help. Before I introduce the captains, I'd like to have 3 guys stand up. Can I get Mikey, Lucas, and Gunnar to stand up? 5 years ago, these 3 made up the entirety of our junior Blues football team. Yeah. These 3, every day as varsity was practicing, would just knock the you-know-what out of each other off to the side, and they had a blast. Thank you for your commitment. 5 years later, all 3 of them played a major role in our success this year. Thank you. I'd like to have our captains come down right now to do the season report. So let me introduce them. Charlie Lins, Jaden Allen, Lucas Cosienda, and Xavier Sanchez.
I'd first like to thank Mr. Scheidt, Mr. Lynn, Mr. Craig, and Coach Stu, who didn't have to be there at all this year. Without them, our defense and O-line wouldn't have been as successful as they were. We would also like to thank Mr. Waller for always keeping us healthy and taping us before every game, Mr. Bragaki and Mrs. Butler for scheduling our games, Coach Beach for keeping us in shape in the stretches, as well as everyone who helped out at the home games. Our football program had a big boost this year, getting many talented players that we haven't had before, including Brett, the twins, Jaden, Eli, Henry, and Cooper, all of which had great impacts on the team. We went into our first game strong, feeling good. We won that game 28-0 and set the tone for the rest of the season.
We played hard throughout the entire season, with winning our first against Avon, then beating them again home. Our 8th and 7th graders played hard when the 9th graders weren't there or able to play, winning 2 out of 2 games. In total, our team went 5-2.
I would like to announce the awards for this year. MVP went to Brett Rubino, who could throw the ball but also use his feet if he needed to. MIP went to Graham, who went from never playing football before to kicking all of our field goals and also playing defensive end. Blue Dog went to Henry for always being ready to play and never putting anyone down. Defensive Lineman of the Year went to me with countless sacks. Offensive Lineman of the Year went to Jose, who was terrific on the line, and Coach's Award went to Charlie for being an extremely flexible player who was willing to play anywhere on the field. All these people worked extremely hard this year and deserve the awards they got today. Thank you.
This was a great group, and even though some practices were tough and a grind, we worked hard and it paid off. I think that everyone can agree that football practice is not the most fun, but when you can implement what you learned into the games, it is truly fun. Thank you for the football team for making an amazing season, and good luck next year.
Okay, thanks, guys. And now it's my pleasure to announce this year's winner of the Peter Cariolo 74 Memorial Football Award. Established in 2004 by the Cariolo family to honor that player whose spirit, effort, and dedication inspired his teammates. What can I say about this man? New to the team in Rumsey this year. It didn't take coaches long to realize that we had a special talent on our hands. He scored 10 touchdowns, made countless defensive plays,
Super fast, super athletic, super coachable, super smart, and a super leader. This year's winner of the Pete Cariolo 74 Memorial Award, Jay Now.
This fall, the cross-country team had a great season with a 3-3 record. When going into this new season, we had lost about 20 of our best runners, with only 4 returners to the team. The start of our season, we were starting with a brand new team, many of whom never raced before. But we all improved a lot and started to win more and more races after all of our hard work. Some of the highlights of our season were the lawn bus rides and our race against WMS, where we got 8 places in the top 10. An A for effort forward the whole season goes to Max for improving so much throughout the season and being such a great runner. Also, congrats to Carson for getting the Blue Dog Award and Andrew for getting the Coaches Award. Thank you to Mrs. Dyball and Ms. Kuzma for making us much better athletes and teaching us many more skills. Thank you all for such a great season, and I hope we'll all have a successful season next fall. Thank you.
Okay, this was a really exciting season for me, and probably a great highlight after 20 years of teaching. After really building this program from the garbage cans. We literally found mountain bikes in the dumpsters and rebuilt them. We did that with ROA 7 years ago. And now 7 years later, we have our own fleet of bikes, we have a network of trails, and no offense to any of you, but we do literally have the best jerseys out of everybody. So good job mountain biking, and thank you Mrs. Butler for those. We tried some original races way back in the day. I think I still have a picture of the very first team that went out there. I think they wore cable knit sweaters and jeans. It might have looked like a J. Crew ad or maybe something from an album cover. It was really pretty funny to look at. Now they look pretty good out there with all the varsity teams at the high schools. But I'm deeply grateful for the success of the season and seeing this actually be formed for this year. There's a lot of people that help directly and indirectly to the growth of the program, but most importantly, thank you to Mr. Pergocki and Mrs. Butler for giving that shift to be recognized and officially a varsity team sport this year. Thank you to Nurse Nancy for coming out just because you wanted to and riding with us often. And our own personal A for effort goes to Mr. Laidlaw, somewhere between covering everybody's classes, picking up a lower school Spanish class. The athletics department was like, and we also need you to learn how to ride bikes and ride with the kids. And he killed us every day. So thank you to all of you for that. I'll let our captain come up in just one moment, but I do have one little recognition I'd like to give. Mountain biking comes with a fair amount of suffering and a fair amount of risk. You really do have to suffer. You're crying when you go up the hills, and then you take a white knuckle ride back down, whizzing past trees and over rocks. It's a perfect blend of effort, risk, and reward. To be a little afraid is expected. To be a little bit of a nutter, a little crazy, is expected. Our newest award is on what I call the Crank, or formerly, now we have a formal name, Addison's Bent Crank. Is in honor of Addison Pennington, who's a student who helped me build the program in the first place, and for whom the world just made a little bit more sense on 2 wheels. So the varsity mountain biking nutter and the winner of the Crank, and you don't have to come down, but just stand up, is Jacob Obenchain. And now, our varsity and first captain and MVP, Jeremy Ouellette.
Varsity mountain biking has grown as a team so much over the term. We started out nervously excited for a race and had met some bumps on the way, such as getting stung by yellow jackets. Although we had a bumpy start and we all grew and became less as a team and more as a family. I want to thank Mr. Roll and Mr. Layla for all the fun, excitement, and encouragement they gave us every day. I also want to thank the team for making this sport more worth joining. Although we never won a race, we still made great memories along the way. Congratulations to Zoe Lee for the Blue Dog Award, Neely Knox for Most Improved, and Jacob Obenshane for Coach's Award. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elena.
And I'm Sean. Our girls varsity soccer team went into the season with 2 new coaches that showed us more support than we could ever have asked for, and made every practice fun and exciting. At the beginning of the season, Mr. Kinsella told us to always give 1% more, and that's what we did, ending our season with a 12-2-1 record. We also placed 3rd overall in the IMS tournament.
The awards this season went to Bella for MVP, Jazzy and Annabelle for Blue Dog Award, Addie with MIP, and Levi with the Coaches Award. We would like to recognize the whole entire team for always showing up, ready to work, and excited to get better. And A for effort goes to Maddie Toby.
We would like to thank our coaches, Mrs. Butler and Mr. Kinsella, for a fun and successful season. Also, thank you to Mr. Pagaki and Mrs. Butler for scheduling our games this season, Mr. Waller for keeping us healthy, and Mr. Beach for our annual Monday workouts, which we grew to love.
Our team made everything fun, from rushing to get to the field on time and putting our cleats on just before it was 3 o'clock so we wouldn't be late for warm-ups, especially Grapevine, to our last game of the season against IMS and sitting in the middle of the field in the pouring rain, taking in every second we could as a team for the last time. It was the moments like these that made our team so close and the reason we all love soccer season. Thank you.
At this point in the program, we want to recognize those athletes who are members of our varsity club. These 5 athletes are earning their 7th or more varsity letter this season, and that would be Abigail Butler, field hockey, Elena Cosgriff, soccer, Phoebe Kinsella, field hockey, Gunnar O, football, and Leah Riding Sword, volleyball. So come on down.
Now we'd like to introduce our new varsity club members. Our first new inductee has 3 letters from soccer, including the 2022 MVP, 1 from basketball, and 2 from lacrosse. Congratulations, Bella Demerod. Our next new member has 1 letter from soccer, 2 from volleyball, including the 2022 MVP, 1 from basketball, 2 from softball, including the 2022 Blue Dog Award. Congratulations, Elizabeth Ensign. Our next new member has 2 letters from soccer, 1 from volleyball, including the 2022 MIP, 1 from basketball, and 2 from softball. Congratulations, Olivia Ensign. Our next new inductee has 3 from soccer, including the 2022 Blue Dog Award, 1 from ice hockey, 1 from lacrosse, and 1 from crew. Congratulations, Victoria Jazzy Jazzy. And our last new member of varsity club for this fall has 3 from soccer, 1 from ice hockey, including the 2022 2022 B captain, and 2 from softball. Congratulations, Lucy Ober.
Congratulations, varsity.